Hello, dear friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, USA Football Zone, latest football highlights. I am your dear friend Luna. Before starting the video, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the video, only 500 likes. Watch the video till the end to know more. Let's get started, guys. Friends, since the first World Cup in 1930, only two continents have won the World Cup. They are South America and Europe. Europe has won 12 World Cups while South America has not. This can be extended and further in that no team from outside the two continents has ever reached the World Cup final, which means that all 42 teams in the final are only Europe and South America. These two create a rivalry to some extent. Football is in chaos and the stakes are set for this World Cup saga, which will start this week, and so today we will discuss the history of this rivalry along with some predictions for the 2022 World Cup, and most importantly, will it be Europe or South America who will win this year? So get ready, as we are going to go through the history of this rivalry, which has lasted for almost a century, and you can expect some ups and downs. So shall we? Let me start by mentioning a quick note about the success of the World Cup since 1896. Which was the first major competition for football, the Olympics. Friends, the medal count for football was low and the first World Cup was considered less prestigious than the Olympics. The first World Cup was held in 1932, so there was no plan to license football for the 1932 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. It was not popular, and so the World Cup was born. The co-founder of FIFA, Jonli, May, started this series, and the name of the trophy would also end up being the World Cup in 1930. Which was the second Olympic gold medal and was probably the strongest team at the time, Uruguay, who then won their first World Cup in 1930. The next World Cup between South America and Europe began with the 1934 edition of the Champions League, which was held in a fascist hotel in Den Mussolini, a game that marked a war with a particular nation, Brazil, which finished third in 1938, was the first to host the World Cup after the Second World Cup in 1950. The 1950 World Cup was returned to South America, with Brazil hosting the tournament. Brazil built one of the most popular stadiums in the sport, commonly known as the Maracanã, which was the largest final ever, with 173,850 people in attendance for the Brazil-Uruguay final in 1950. It was a historic final. Brazil made it very difficult. This question forced Brazil to change its white and blue jersey to the famous yellow jersey. This added to the Hungary quarter-finals of the 1954 World Cup. With Brazil out of the competition, the famous Puskas was involved, which was breaking the spirit of Brazil, but little did they know that these events were to inspire a young boy with his destiny, until America South. In winning 2 World Cups there and 3 in Europe, friends' home advantage was a big factor. The hosts won the Continental Cup, and the next cup was held in Sweden, which in 1958 the South Americans were again in trouble. Although some changes were made, and it was truly a year that defined the future of the game. Brazil was different from you. Its style of play was the Jenga style, by which capoeira was incorporated into football. Iago Bonito has now worked for Brazil in 2 World Cups. Brazil is working on a new one. The manager appointed the game, which incorporated European tactical discipline and structure, into La Liga, the FA Cup, and 3 months later the Cup. He had previously gone on a 3-month military tour of Europe and was still struggling with the new 4-2-4 system and Jenga style, and although they were winning their modern tactics, they still almost lost the game, and it was the 4th time they had played against Wales, when at that time the youngest player in the World Cup and now legend Pelé became a fast star. The game had to be won by goals. Brazil won the final against Sweden with strategy and style. This victory set many records that still stand today. Friends, the most goals scored, 5-2. But very importantly, it was the first and only time a European team had ever won. The European hosts won the World Cup. It was a true moment of unity. It gave Sweden the honor and respect of playing with the Brazilian team, and in return Brazil ran into the stadium with the Swedish flag. The first World Cup win with Pelé was the beginning of Brazil's golden era, and in another scene Pelé was once overlooked, he said. So talking about Brazil, well, let's go. South America's most successful nation went on to win in Chile in 1962. Pelé was included, although they were quickly defeated and they were broken in Europe. England won their World Cup in 1966, and then their golden era ended in Mexico in 1970. Pelé was included again. Brazil won once again. Brazil have now lost 3 European teams in the final in the last 4 World Cups, but after Pelé they see the World Cup final again. It took a long time, which came in a heavily guarded and militaristic manner. People don't like Brazil. In the 1970 World Cup, Europe won 4. And South America won 5, and the host continent was consistent even after winning. Brazil is Sweden with the win. Brazil saw a World Cup final for a long time. Friends will talk 19 here. Seen many people remember great people and said beautiful games, but for the South of America it was a year many forgot. Special Socrates star Brazil player. Compare your team in this World Cup of Brazil was encouraged again from your team won and good. Argentina World Cup champion in 1970. This Brazil team is having a hard time in the previous World Cup. Argentina and Brazil advance from the first step of the 2 groups. It's time 24-team format group. Italy, Brazil and Argentina vital do not expect to get out of this group, and probably they will not have to do it, but they defied all obstacles. They won the champs, defeating Argentina in first place, and Brazil will take 2. Argentina defeating and OS. This was the first story of legend Maradona in 1982. Italy and Brazil in the Middle Cup World Game was to make any team advance, and Paolo has been turned into the best in history. Rossi, Italy, whose striker this not a single goal was scored at the point, but he came alive against Brazil in the tournament. He scored 2 goals and Brazil scored 2 goals, a first-time mention of the soccer shoe, and that was enough to put Brazil ahead, but the Brazilian style was certain to win them, and Tavi Rossi struck and he won the game and completed his hat-trick, and with that he won the entire cup and gave everyone the prize. And after several years of winning against all odds, friend Socrates said in an interview that our pass was very good and we were happy with it, then scored 3 and a hat-trick of football was made. We know the day is over. For years it seemed that this loss would be the main goal for Brazil. In the years the European style was created, which probably came from the opinion that more players from them came to European clubs. The next 2 finals I am adding together are 1986 and 1990, both years Argentina finished in the middle, and I have mentioned in the past the reason for their kryptonite in the World Cup. The 32-year-old Diego Maradona's performance in Mexico in 1986 was a one-man show. They were a complete English team and were marked by a brilliant display. The second goal was also famous. His play was also famous, the goal written by God in the 1986 tournament. Friends, Argentina won the final against Germany, and 1986 was truly his own, and the last time Argentina played in the World Cup was in Germany, where they lost to Germany, and unfortunately for Argentina they did something else 4 years later. In 1990, this time in Europe, Germany faced Argentina in the final, and this time Germany won with great players like Jürgen Klinsmann and Rudi Liege. In the 1994 World Cup in the USA, Brazil bounced back in form and beat Italy but Diego Benito. Friends, this beautiful game was a blur, and Brazil felt less special and different from their previous identity after winning the penalty shootout. Germany had 1 win and 1 loss, as history has it that they won the European Championship in 2002 and fought with the French legend Zidane and them in France in 1998. So now it's a European victory and 8 wins for South America. The competition is even more fierce than before. 2002 is the Brazil team breathing its former form. Ronaldinho has brought back the Zinga style of play, and the team is working like the dynamic Socrates era with his fast passing. His bar passer 9 Ronaldo was a powerful striker. Although especially in recent years with a change in the mentality of the next men to win the World Cup, they turn negative in the World Cup. I talk about it more in detail in your World Cup curse video channel. But in 2006 the South Team USA did not perform well in Germany. It was a European festival in 1982 and continued the theme of being the hub of Europe. In the 2006 final with the likes of Buffon and Pirlo, with France co-Harria Spain in 2010 with Ronaldo and Ronaldinho in midfield, your unique ticket baton in victory over the Netherlands. But Argentina has once again started to choose the class that made Lel in South America since the 2006 World Cup, but only in 2014 he brought your progress with the national team. We have definitely been able to tell about Messi in 2006. Argentina. Messi told the Comorni from outside IR once in 2010 they lost to Germany. 86 wins would have prevented them from Germany again and again. For me, 2014 was the year in which this rivalry can be felt with more emotion than the first. For the first time in 36 years, the host country will be South America, and Brazil will host your second World Cup after 1950. The South American team in the tournament held in South America was a good omen to stop the continent losing the World Cup to South America. The tournament went well for the hosts, the semifinals Brazil, Germany and Argentina, Netherlands no. Argentina made the final to save their hero Messi and Brazil faced the blackest game in their history at home. They lost 7-1 to Germany. The entire Belém Stadium was filled with tears and sadness. It was a real warning and reassurance goal for Brazil. Russia won the World Cup in France and no southern team advanced to the quarter-finals, and now we have South America where there are no World Cups. Then Europe has won 12 World Cups in the finals and finally won 6 to the USA. Now the World Cup in 2022 will be held in Qatar and the tournament will start in a week at the Naval Stadium. Argentina and Brazil are both favorites. And I really believe that this could be a full tournament and a worthwhile showcase for South America, and a football fan. It will take time to see what I can really expect from this competition in 2022, and with that some losses and possibly even a finals. Go with it. The video talks about Messi and Ronaldo and how this will be the last World Cup, and how if both of their teams are assured of money moving forward, it could be that now the file could be this continental competition could create a foreplay. It wouldn't be a crazy one for it to be, but it will definitely see a lot of naturals. That each group of 13 European teams and 4 South American teams has at least one European team and a South American team in a separate group, spreading. This year, the South American teams are mainly relying on Brazil and Argentina, followed by Uruguay, while Ecuador is less likely to be favored by the oddsmakers, according to experts. The next stage of the tournament is likely to be without the South American team members, Brazil, Argentina and Uruguay. It seems that Brazil will be eliminated from Uruguay and Argentina, Denmark or France. If Brazil and Argentina can succeed, Brazil could potentially face Belgium, the team they have repeatedly followed, and Argentina could face the team they have been guided by, the Netherlands. If Argentina and Brazil can overcome their difficult obstacles, they will get a semi-final for the South American place in the final. The most likely will be against a European team like France, East or England. So if there's anything optimistic about this tournament, which will never happen, we've got 2 South American teams struggling to reach the final, with them having to beat each other in the process. And then we have a South American team against a European team in the final as a possible possibility. What's great about a low-scoring field this year is that there's no European or South American side winning, or neither. I can't let it go. I'll be the underdog. Thanks for watching this exciting football update, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for all the latest football highlights, updates. We will be back with the highlights soon.